Corporate social responsibility is an effort that every company should make while developing. Generally, corporate social responsibility is made up of 5 dimensions. Those dimensions are environmental, social, economic, stakeholder, and voluntariness. Environmental responsibility consists of making sure the company has at least a neutral impact or positive impact on the environment. A way to demonstrate this would be something such as recycling. Next is social responsibility, which means the business should benefit the whole society. An example would be offering a scholarship or sponsoring a fundraiser. Stakeholder is a third dimension of a CSR. A company must take their stakeholders into consideration while making decisions, not just the bottom line. This can be demonstrated by making sure employees have a safe workplace and a sense of job security. The last dimension of corporate social responsibility is voluntariness. These are actions that are not required that you do, but you do anyhow. Google has developed their corporate social responsibility policy around the following core items: sustainability, diversity and inclusion, digital well-being, human rights, transparency, accessibility, crisis response, safety center, and google.org. We will explore each of these topics within their policy further. First is its stakeholders. This is a very diverse group of individuals, given the fact that Google is such a large, multi-dimensional company. Google's stakeholder group is made up of 6 core subgroups within the broad group. Those 6 groups are users, employees, advertisers and other customers, investors, governments, and communities. We will explore each a little further. Google's top priority stakeholders are its users. Users are not people that pay for Google services, but rather those that use the search engine, Chrome, and Gmail. Google's philosophy states, focus on the user and all else will follow. Every product is developed with the user's needs in mind. These stakeholders are important because their behaviors define the company's popularity. Google's second priority are their employees. Speaking from experience as an employee, people that work for a company value a positive experience with the company and fair pay. Google has taken this in stride, and according to Panmure.com, they address the interests of employees and major stakeholder group through competitive compensation and a fun workplace design, which includes high salaries and various incentives and benefits, such as free meals and flexible workflows. Google's facilities are also fun places to work, where workers can exercise, play games, and enjoy sharing ideas with each other. Next, Google prioritizes advertisers and other customers. This is an important group because they determine the financial performance of the company. The main way these stakeholders are benefited is by having effective services such as advertising campaigns. Google has achieved this through prioritizing these stakeholders, which drives popularity and as a result drives market reach and effectiveness. Investors make up the next subgroup of stakeholders. Generally speaking, investors determine the amount of capital that is available for use within the business. Google incorporates this into their corporate social responsibility by providing useful products, which makes them popular and profitable, according to Panmure.com. Governments are the next group. As we all know, the government is a place to regulate all businesses and make sure they are compliant. Since Google is a global company, it deals with many different governments and has to make sure they are compliant in all aspects. Google incorporates this into its CSR by following the laws that are in place, and according to Panmure.com, Google's actual policy states, you can make money without doing evil. The last group is communities. Communities are an important stakeholder in many businesses as they are the ones who judge a company and their products and create the overall perception and in turn, success. Also according to Panmure.com, Google achieves its community involvement through google.org, which has already donated over $100 million in grants and investments, and they aim to address climate change, global public health, and global poverty. We'll get more into this a little bit later. According to Google's mission, they strive to build sustainability into everything they do. They have taken many measures to help educate the population on what they can also do to make small impacts on the local environment, large impacts on the planet, as well as educating them on sustainable and responsible supply chain. Google has made an impeccable effort to change the standard on what is acceptable in terms of taking care of the environment. First, their mission, according to sustainability.google.com, states that they are raising the bar in making smart use of Earth's resources, expecting the highest ethical standards throughout our supply chain and creating products with people and the planet in mind. First, the goal is to give some insight to people on what they can do to help. Google has made different tools available such as Your Plan, Your Planet, which allows the user to discover how to reduce food, water, and energy waste, as well as learn about circular economy so you can prolong the life of your goods. Next, they have a tool called the Environment Insights Explorer, or EIE, in which you can type in your city, which then generates ways to measure your city's environmental indicators, then act or reduce waste and set mitigation goals, and then track changes and share the results. Google states Environmental Insights Explorer was founded on the idea that data and technologies can help enable and accelerate the world's transition into a low-carbon future. By using exclusive data sources and modeling capabilities in a freely available platform, EIE helps cities measure sources of emissions and identify and inform strategies to reduce emissions. This creates a foundation for effective action. Second, Google is doing a great job with supply chain sustainability. Some of the things that they've put at the top of their priority list are becoming less reliant on raw materials, holding suppliers accountable for safer and healthier manufacturing, fighting child labor, specifically in the mines of Manano, and fighting against modern slavery. Google states recruiting, harboring, transporting, providing, obtaining a person for compelled labor or commercial sex acts through the use of force, fraud, or coercion is estimated to involve as many as 40 million victims today. We are committed to ensuring that modern slavery is not taking place in our supply chains and business operations and have developed programs and processes to accomplish exactly that. Diversity is also of high importance to Google. They strive to implement diversity into their products as well as their workforce. According to their 2020 diversity report, it was the second year in a row that they have increased representation for women globally and for Black and Latino employees in the US, and they saw the largest increase in the hiring of Black technical employees that they have ever measured. As you can see from the chart given, the report shows that 67.5% of hires were men, while 32.5% were women, and within those hires, there were a variety of different ethnicities hired. Through these efforts, Google has built a workforce that is more comfortable for all people to work in, and they are striving to help people who may have had a lesser opportunity to become or receive leadership elsewhere. This is very important as we are seeing more companies scout out higher talent, which is found in all different cultures and races. Another important social responsibility for Google is digital well-being. With Google being a fully digital source, I find it amazing that they prioritize people's health and well-being over their product. Google offers a variety of tips and tools to help you understand if you have a good balance with technology and what you can do to help monitor your habits. One of the best tools is a survey that is available on wellbeing.google that asks a variety of questions such as, do you find yourself distracted by your phone when you're with your friends and family? And do you tend to lose track of time when you're on your phone? As well as, do you spend more time on social media than you'd like? You're given the choice to answer never, rarely, sometimes, or often. And at the end, there are tips on how to monitor your usage and how to, quote unquote, unplug. Furthermore, there are tips and tools available to learn how to focus your time with tech, unplug more often, minimize distractions, and find balance as a family.
Google has been working on emphasizing the importance of human rights to their shareholders. On Google's official website, about.google.com, Google states that their goal is to develop services that significantly improves the lives of as many people as possible and is working towards making a positive impact globally. They've been devoted to follow strict guidelines of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, and Global Network Initiative Principles. Last year, Google has partnered up with BSR to launch a platform for a new celebrity recognition application program interface. According to BSR, this platform will allow Google to identify celebrities in their content and use database of celebrity images licensed by Google. It is shown that they were able to eliminate inappropriate images that go against celebrities' human rights and protect them in a variety of ranges. By taking actions like this, Google and BSR was able to analyze different databases to promote human rights and protect individuals. According to Human Rights First, Google has been a founding member of GNI along with Microsoft and Yahoo. GNI's official website states that GNI participants commit to implement the organization's principles on freedom of expression and privacy, which provides direction and guidance to the ICT industry and its stakeholders in protecting and advancing the enjoyment of these human rights globally. GNI is a platform created for ICT companies to protect digital challenges and providing frameworks to company decisions in supporting freedom of expression and also protecting privacy rights. Although Google has been highlighting the purpose of making a positive impact through their advanced technology, a former executive of Google's international relations, Ross Legenis, says that Google is going against their mission statement. According to the Washington Post, this problem came to light when Google launched Project Dragonfly, where they were trying to model and sell a search engine in China which would be used to censor free expressions. This will scrutinize and block out the freedom of speech of people in China and letting all the voices of Chinese citizens go unheard. Ross Legenis expressed his concerns about this project and was committed to promote the human rights organization. Rather than taking these concerns into consideration, Ross was later fired by Google. According to The Verge, Ross mentions that just when Google needed to double down on commitment to human rights, it decided to instead chase bigger profits and even higher stock price. Google works closely with the government agencies to advance their transparency requirements by regulating a variety of contents. According to Google's transparency report, Google reviews many content removal requests that they receive and work closely with the court and government agencies to examine the requests. Removal requests come in for a variety of reasons, such as when the content violates laws, guidelines, copyright, and certain policies. If requests don't have valid or specific reasonings, Google will remove them. Google mentions that our team assigns each request a category, such as hate speech, obscenity, and defamation. Google takes precise reviewing steps when they are dealing with this content since it could be sensitive issues depending on the country and region. A great tool that Google created is the Safe Browsing Site status. Before anyone clicks on a suspicious link, individuals are able to check the site status and examine if the website is safe just by copying and pasting the link. Google mentions that every day we discover thousands of new unsafe sites, many of which are legitimate websites that have been compromised. When we detect unsafe sites, we show warnings on Google search and in web browsers. You can search to whether a website is currently dangerous to visit. Since technology is growing rapidly, so is the viruses and bugs on your computer. Many of these can steal personal data and information which can be critical to your devices. Google came up with this objective to limit the visits of unsafe websites and preventing devices from catching a virus. Google releases their transparency report every 6 months, but there has been a criticism behind the reports. According to the Computer World, Google's transparency reports do not include requests for user data made by government under the U.S. Patriot Act, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Amendment Act, or through the use of national security letters. Google has been trying to release more information on the requests that they receive from the government, but due to the policy of publicly disclosing information, Google wasn't able to reveal them. Many people are raising questions of being deceived by the media that Google portrays and have been emphasizing that Google is hiding information from the media by partnering up with the government. One of the initiatives that Google has been working on is to develop a accessible software system. Google made all of their applications very user-friendly and has guides and resources to support customers to access their products comfortably. Google mentions that they are committed to making accessibility a core consideration from the earliest stages of product design through release. Our central accessibility team has a mandate to monitor the state of accessibility of Google products and coordinate accessibility training, testing, and consulting. Google is looking to find ways to innovate their applications so that companies, schools, government agencies, and people with disabilities are able to use their products as a tool to succeed. Google has been committed to help people with disabilities to be able to access Google without any struggle. Google came up with an impact challenge on disabilities where they were able to bring advanced ideas and develop ways to innovate their applications for more user-friendly towards people with disabilities. According to Google, the Google Impact Challenge, Disabilities aims to make the world more accessible for the 1 billion people living with disabilities. We pledged $20 million to grant to 29 nonprofits using technology to take a wide range of accessibility challenges. Beyond their support of accessibility of their product, Google has been investing their time and energy on supporting initiative and research on accessibility. Similar to the Impact Challenge on Disability, Google supported two of their employees, Loretta Guarniano Reed and Sean Laureate, both senior software engineers, to be involved in the WCAG Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. According to the W3C guidelines, accessibility involves a wide range of disabilities, including visual, auditory, physical, speech, cognitive, language, learning, and neurological disabilities. Since Google is a worldwide browser, they've been investing their time to study on different ways to access depending on their disability, their country of origin, and other factors that may discomfort the user. They've also been researching and taking actions on different types of devices that users access Google from, and working with the software team to eliminate any discomfort from the user's perspective.
Hello, everyone. According to Reputation Institute, Google has the best reputation for corporate social responsibility in the world, and this is based on their 2018 Global Social Responsibility RepTrak 100 ranking study. My name is Fatima Sanusi, and I'm going to go over the last three, but not the least, social responsibilities for Google, which are Google.org. This is the charity foundation, crisis response, and safety center. Google.org is the company's charity foundation, and this is where all the charitable projects takes place. The organization was founded in 2005, and the goal of the organization is to help more children reach their potentials by increasing meaningful access to computer science education worldwide. And the organization is achieving their goals by supporting nonprofit organizations that create a quality education for everyone, helping organizations connecting people to jobs and opportunity, supporting innovators, fighting racial bias, and advancing justice for all, and assisting nonprofit on the ground during times of crisis. Google.org and their commitment to COVID-19. According to Jacqueline Fuller, who is the vice president of the foundation, the organization initially committed to $50 million in grant to support health and science, economic relief and recovery, and distance learning. On May 6th, the organization committed to additional $50 million, bringing the total contribution to $100 million so far since COVID-19. Crisis response is another aspect of Google's social responsibility. Google helps people or countries affected by crisis by taking immediate and effective actions. Google believes the best way to help people during crisis is by, reacting very quickly. So to help people during crisis, Google reacts quickly by supporting nonprofit organizations in affected communities throughout the entire period. I mean, we all know that a crisis can happen anytime and anywhere. So Google always makes donations whenever there's an outbreak or natural disaster. Google donated $2 million through Google.org Foundation to Hurricane Harvey recovery. And the company raised additional $2.5 million from public and Google employee. Also, through technology, Google is currently providing ongoing support for refugees around the world, building a mobile platform to provide refugees with credible information, helping nonprofit organizations and aid workers translate critical information for refugees through an open source app, giving refugees access to connectivities and devices. Safety Center is another aspect of Google, and Google is actually very, very big on safety. According to Google, the company was founded on the belief that everything they do should always respect their users. And like I said earlier, the company is big on safety because they make technology for everyone, which means everyone, meaning adults and children. So they want to make sure everyone that uses their technology is protected and respected. The focus of the Safety Center is to continuously update their security technologies and privacy tools to help keep everyone and their families safe online. I mean, especially now that the internet is advancing. Google helps everyone that uses their technology stay safe through by providing security, privacy, and security. Like I said earlier, Google's very big on safety. Almost everyone, I mean, I'll put it this way. Personally, I do not know anyone that does not have a social media account, at least one. There are just so many social media platforms out there. Most people that I know, they have at least two or maybe three. So what Google does is they strengthen your account security by protecting your information and devices. They manage which third-party apps have access to your account information. And for those who will save their password, people like me, I pretty much have my password saved on all of my devices, just because nobody else uses them. I'm the only one that use my laptop, my cell phone, and all those things. So my password is pretty much saved on them. So what Google does is they check the saved password to make sure there's no issue. Privacy. Privacy is another way Google is helping their users protect their information. According to Google, information makes Google services more helpful and relevant. But how they use the information is an individual choice that belongs to the users. So meaning, if you have a Google account, you have the option to set your own privacy. So you can actually set your privacy to private or to public, or if you want your information to be shared, you have the option to do that as well. Data transparency. Sometimes Google takes information from their users in order to make their services better. Because of their promise of data transparency, what they do is they actually notify their users about the information that was taken and how they use that information. And another aspect, another tool that Google has is the privacy control. And also you have the option to block ads and set your information, your data to be private if you want. Families. This is actually my favorite because the children of today, they're actually growing with technology. Unlike when I was growing up, I remember I was growing up, into technology. I was going to learn more about technology, but nowadays these kids are actually growing with technology. Most of the kids that I know, they have an iPad or they have, and they can operate them. They know how to play games and all those things online. So, I mean, Google understand that children are very much into technology these days. So what they're doing is they're working directly with experts and educators to help parents and families set boundaries and use technology in a way that is right. So parents have the option to set up parental controls, which I love. You can set screen times, and also you can manage what your child can see online, and also you can know your child's location when they have their device with them. Another one is on parental supervision, which is very close to parental control. But with the parental supervision, that helps parents to understand how their children actually explore online. So you're actually able to see what your kids are doing online. If they're going to any website that you don't want, you can see that. You can actually do something about it. And the last one is tips for families. So what they do is Google create resources and tips to help children make better choices online. So, I mean, these are some of the situations that I found that does not align with Google's social responsibility. I found an article on New York Times, and this article is from 2015. So, according to New York Times, Larry Page, who is Google's co-founder, gave $400 million in Christmas donation, but none of the money, not even a penny, went to charity. This to me does not align with their social responsibility of giving back to the community through their foundation. And another one that I found was something regarding to safety and privacy. Again, I found another article on Business Insider, and according to the company, Google put a microphone in their Nest Secure Hub. A Nest Secure Hub is control pad for home security system. So they put a microphone in the hub without telling their users. Google actually admitted that this was an error, And personally, I think this goes against their promise of safety, privacy, and transparency. Okay, so just for a quick recap, Google has 9 corporate social responsibilities. Now, according to United Nations, corporate social responsibility is a management concept whereby companies integrate social and environmental concerns in their business operations and interactions with their stakeholders. And you just heard from Jessica and Katie. They went over the first 6 social responsibilities, and I covered the last 3. This brings us to the end of the presentation. I thank you guys for listening. I know this is so much information. So I have 2 quotes. I want to end this with 2 amazing quotes that I found online. This quote by Mahatma Gandhi. The first one says, "If you take care of your immediate surroundings, the universe will take care of itself." The second one says, "Be the compromise you want to see in the world." Thank you.